Hey guys, Dalen here. I was editing today's episode for the Feedback Friday, and I realized that my intro spiel got cut off. So I'm just kind of inserting it here, just to make sure it's not just like an awkward hard start where I'm just jumping right in. But be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. And if you missed today's stream, I'll be streaming every week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 3 p.m. Pacific time. Enjoy the video, and thanks. But yeah, I think I'm just going to start off already, like, whenever you're playing Pharah, Pharmacy versus Pharmacy, it's going to be typically, like, your job as the Pharah to be 1v1ing them, just to kind of keep their attention, because you don't want the rest of your team being subject to the rain, fire, rockets. That's the double tap right there. I think a good use of, or like a good attempt to use on the concussive blast there. Like, well, it was blocked by the shield. I think my thought there was trying to use the concussive blast to try and basically, like, keep the rest of the enemy team away when they, like, charged each other. Something that I am trying to do is prioritize, what I was trying to prioritize earlier was those sim turrets. I don't think I was looking at that one on the top left. Really going for damage here. If I had concussive blast on cooldown, that would have been great. That would have been a really good opportunity there. I almost got killed by the G-Mech. See, and I think instinctively I just used the concussive blast in, like, I'm kind of just using it off cooldown, which, I don't know, I feel like I should be a lot more intentional because concussive blast is such a good ability where it helps your movement when you're in a pinch to get away, but it also helps like situations like this where Josiah slept this Rhine. We could have gotten like an easy kill and probably like enough ult charge off of his health to just give me my ult for the next fight, instead of maybe possibly wasting more resources before the next team fight. Like, this was the end of the team fight. I think it was wrapping up, but still, like, saving your concussive blast for something like this would be really ideal, especially because the Mercy was still here healing him. Oh my gosh, like, we would have been able to, yeah, the Mercy just flew into my LOS there. Okay, so they swapped hit scan. Yeah, see, I don't know what the concussive blast usage there was looking for. Like, I think maybe being a little bit more aware. Trying to do a good job of playing in cover. Not flying, like, too low. I think something that I am already noticing is that I should be a little bit better. I should practice more with my Pharah, just like fuel management, because really good Pharahs are able to stay in the air indefinitely, just with how they, like, time their, whether it's like right click or you use spacebar or whatever button it's bound to. So that'll help my, like, mobility. See, that was a good attempt of using the blast there, the concussive blast. And I am getting rezzed by my Mercy, but I think it might have been better to try and maybe play a little bit more in cover, because I was kind of playing out in the open and not using cover as much. Like, I got too cheeky as they were rotating into an area where they had, like, just a wide open sight line. I got killed by the Cass again, but I think that was good peel because I ended up getting the... Did I end up booping the... I did boop the BAP, okay. And I was peeling for a D.Va because a D.Va can get eaten alive by a highly charged sim, especially when she was doing that shield dance with her photon barrier. I think in this situation, it's just that, like, I think in this game I was kind of complaining a bit that I felt like there were times where my Mercy wasn't really sticking with me, which I can see that the Doom was like half here, but I think in some ways, like, I don't know, he's not really in danger. Has the Mega right here, and I think it was also one of those cases where, like, if you're playing Mercy and you have an Ana, like, our Ana's coming back from spawn, so she's our only healer, but typically in this situation, like, I think it could have helped if, like, the Mercy and Pharah are in communication, or at least, like, you know, to communicate, like, when you're, like, leaving the target you're pocketing, because, like, sometimes Pharahs will try and go aggressive, and, like, close the gap, especially on hit scan, so sometimes it's best when you're playing Mercy and you need to leave to basically notify whoever you're pocketing that you're going to be leaving them for a second, so maybe they play a little bit more passive. And I think I was probably going to die from that anyway, but I don't know. I think this is just one of those situations where I think it still worked out because our Doom got the Mega. We found the kill on the cast, and our Doom and Winston managed to clean up with the help of our Mercy.
I'm claiming this objective.
I should probably study some rollouts for Pharah. Or, like, at least just, like, mechanics to have to like, get better with, like, just, like, movement. Like, even right here, like, yeah, see, okay. Right there, that was, like, a mechanical flub. I think what I was trying to do was angle it so I was gonna, like, aim down and fly forward, possibly to get, like, a nice position for a barrage, but that's just kind of, like, not being familiar with the mechanics. This was a weird barrage. I think I tried to get the Mercy. I do use the Concussive Blast to get away from the bomb. See, like, having it like that in that situation is good because you want to use it as an escape tool. I think I try to peel for my Ana here. Okay. Dang. I think there was an attempt to keep me alive there, but it was just unfortunate. I was trying to, like, I tunnel visioned on that turret there. I'm getting res. Like, I tunnel visioned on that there, and D.Va's making it. That's also something. If you're playing Pharah and you're getting dove by the D.Va, you should save your concussion blast for when she chases you like that, because she's gonna try and use her boosters to fly up. And if the angle's right, you can boop away from her to like you can hit her with the concussive blast and it'll boop you away from her. But also maybe if you're lucky or if you're positioning it right, you can get the boop with that like when she doesn't have her boosters, and you can get an environmental kill, which is nice.
Thanks for the assist. I need healing. Damage
Yeah, this D.Va is doing a really good job of zoning me out and keeping me occupied. I do get the D-mech on her, which is nice. Alright, I think this is just another example of, like, I'm not really sure where our Mercy went, and this is one of those things where I think she was with me, and then she went to make sure our Ana was okay, or maybe possibly pocket our Doom, because, yeah. And I think I could have had some better awareness on my part, because I was just kind of above the enemy team, like, taking a lot of their aggression, while the rest of my team was split off. I feel like while I was drawing some of their attention, I think my attention could have been focused on maybe providing more opportunities for my team. Like if my Ana and Doom are getting dove, maybe trying something like covering fire on the people that are diving them, and just overall maybe being aware, like if I'm also not getting pocketed by the Mercy, to maybe try and play a little bit more passive. I will say though, sometimes that UI on the Mercy is hard to hard to see, especially on like a bright map.
Justice reigns from above. Move back.
I think this was a decent stall. See, that was also a really good. The fact that I was able to use the concussive blast to escape the high noon was decent. We didn't win the round, but I think something that I could have done better there was like all the way back here, all the way back to this situation where I died over here. I want to see how this fight unfolds really quick, just so we can see what the dealio was. So we find the pick onto their Cass. I demech the D.Va over here. I think right here, what I should have done was as soon as I heard the shatter, focus less on trying to get these picks over here with like the D.Va sim and the D.Va sim. I think because I had my barrage, it might have been better to use my cooldown to peel for my team that got shattered over here. Like, just being aware, I might have just been tunnel visioning so hard, thinking that I could, again, like, make some kind of hero play here, that I just didn't think about. Yeah, I had my cooldowns. What I could have done, maybe, is, like, concussive blasted over here, and maybe, like, tried to get, like, a barrage to either kill or zone off the Rhine from following up on this shatter. Because at the same time, like, that is, I'm seeing now, that is why the Mercy leaves, because the Mercy's like, oh crap, I gotta save the other two people that are literally CC'd by their main tank. So I think we would have had a better chance, and possibly we could have won this round and this game, because I know it went to 3 rounds and we won the second round, I think. Yeah, well, we had to win the second round. I think we would have won this game, or would have had a better chance if I had a lot better awareness and still peeling for my team as a DPS. And I think that's also something important that DPS players need to remember, is that just because you're not playing an off healer, just because you're not playing an off tank, like, doesn't mean you should not be, like, unaware of, like, the rest of your team, you know? Because I know a lot of pressure can get placed on healers, where a DPS is supposed to feel like a lot of people like will think like, oh, like, where's the healing, where's this, like, you know, like, I need more resources so I can pop off. And I think, like, yes, in some ways that's true, but like the role of a support is generally to enable the entire team. I would argue that I think the way that I try to envision like team-based play in Overwatch is that it's a very like malleable I don't know, entity in a way, where like everyone is trying to enable one another. And I think like there are going to be different spikes in different times where you want people to enable you and you to enable other people. And I think at this time I could have used my ultimate as a way to peel for my healers, because if I see someone getting dove, and let's say another healer or the off tank is busy peeling for somebody else, and if I see that, it should be my job to try and keep them alive, because at the end of the day, like, a 5v6 is harder to win than a 6v6, because best case scenario, if I peel for my healer, the other person will use vital cooldowns to either escape because I'm pressuring them, or we get a pick and then we win the 5v6. So I think that's just something that I could have been more aware of, because I didn't peel for my healers. I was tunnel visioning, and I didn't really like, I think this was a decent stall, but I think we wouldn't have even been in this situation if I maybe had a better just awareness of the other team's ultimates and what I could have done better, or what I could have been doing in that position. So we'll skip to the next round.
Ready for 5. Ready for battle.
And so I swapped Cass here. Let's see. See, and this is good. Like, as Cass, or just playing hit scan in general, not necessarily getting the kill, but just pressuring the Pharah to let her know that she can't just, like, play for free without, like, taking some damage, you know. That was just a good set of shots. Managed to get the headshot kill. We did give up point there. I couldn't really stand on point because I didn't want to risk falling after getting that pick. Their Mercy finds the res. I think I find the kill again. No, I don't. We get the D-Mech on the D.Va though. Oh my gosh, Mercy just pulling out all the dodges, all the stops. Okay. Cool. Yeah, that's also something that I want to get better at is, like, once I get a pick, especially when they're playing Mercy, try and position myself to where I can capitalize on the res. And sometimes, like, while you're tempted to use all your cooldowns to focus one target, sometimes you want to save your other cooldown, specifically like a CC, for the res, like whether it's a sleep dart, a flash, even a helix rocket, or I don't know, maybe even a pulse bomb. Like, so sometimes that res will be so vital in winning the fight. I'm stuck on the wall there. I also need to just be better about my movement around the map. See, so I'm doing, I think, a decent job of tracking the Pharah, but I think right now I was making the mistake of pushing really far forward. Like, if you notice, my tanks were all the way back here. Like, my Orisa was playing this back corner, and my Hog is looking for, like, maybe a flank hook or scoping out maybe the soldier's flank angle. And I was in a position where I was playing so far forward that there was a risk of me getting picked if I took, like, a stray rocket or some, like, really good shots by the other team. So I think that's good awareness for me to pull back. Like, because playing Cass is kind of a glass cannon in the sense of he's, like, he can do a lot of damage, but he's not very, like, solo-oriented. He's very team-dependent. So if you're caught out in front of your tank line or your front line, that can be bad news. So when you're playing Cass, always try to be aware of where your front line is, and if you're playing in front of them, that's a bad place to be. I feel like I'm doing a good job. Oh yeah, I remember this game. I was also doing a. This is where, like, I unlocked the usage. Like, it finally clicked. That's like, oh, Cass can roll in midair now, and I realized that there were so many times where the Orisa tried to pull me into the pit, and I would just air roll out of it, which is kind of, it's kind of ridiculous. I don't know if that's, like, a good change because Cass is already pretty powerful. Yeah, so. I think I don't know if I was calming with my team, but when I don't see the Pharah, when you don't see the Pharah, she's probably looking for some kind of a barrage, so always call that out if you get the chance. Or if you're not able to communicate with your team, always just be kind of tracking and seeing, like, oh, where could a Pharah be? If she's not in this area, maybe she's hiding over here, so check those corners and see if you can peel for your team to make sure that barrage doesn't get maximum value. Oh, I was really sad. I wasn't able to save Josiah. His ammo field came out late, and my flash came out too late. It feels bad. I'm also realizing that something I do, it's a really bad habit, is that I just jump a lot. And I think jumping is also just a really bad habit in shooters anyway, just because it opens you up to, like, if you're playing against a Widow or just any hit scan or, I don't know, like, anybody, like, jumping puts you in a very predictable trajectory. So it's something that I want to break and, like, not be as, like, obvious within my movement. Yeah, I think I should have maybe retreated towards my team because I noticed my Mercy was over here. I noticed, like, our BAP was still down coming back from spawn, so instead of maybe backing up this way, maybe trying to go this way. It would have put me in the sights of the Pharah, but I think I had a roll, so yeah, I should have been fine. And I did hear the Reaper earlier, so I just, that's just a matter of rotation, making sure that I'm with my team. But I do think that I am having a decent awareness on, like, where the Pharah is, tracking her.
That'll be fine.
Making sure to save your roll for stuff like Halt. Like, yeah, because you don't want to be in the line of fire. I like how this Mercy's health bar is like there, but she's like obviously just dead. That's funny.
Mounting power to forward key.
Oh, I missed the flash on the D.Va. But we still get the D-mech on her. I think knowing that they have a Reaper, now that's 2 DPS that I should be tracking. Because you have Reaper that can flank from angles on like left and right and above with his shadow step, but those are 2 DPS that I want to be tracking, especially because I have a stun. Stun for Pharah maybe not as applicable unless like you're up in her face when she barrages or close to her, but Reaper is one that I definitely want to be watching out for and saving flash for. I thought I could maybe stop the D.Va from escaping with her boosters, but yeah, you always gotta be careful. Oh yeah, this is where I use the roll to escape. So you always want to be aware because, like, as I said in one of my last Feedback Fridays, like, sometimes pressure is better than getting the pick, because if you get someone to use a vital cooldown and not get any value, then they're essentially, like, not as useful in the fight anyway. And so when you have something as powerful as a flashbang that's CC that can easily catch out an enemy with bad positioning, it's maybe better to save that for the Reaper because we got the D-mech on the D.Va anyway. Speaking of questionable uses, I don't know why I just flashed the well. Alright, good pick. Great hook. Good awareness of the Reaper. Again, using my roll to escape that. Yeah, I don't know why I flashed the well. Maybe it was just like some weird panic like press after almost, I don't know, like my life flashed before my eyes and I'm just like, mash all the buttons. Oh, I don't think I saw the Mercy. Might have been able to get a pick on her instead of tunnel visioning on the D.Va there. Alright, so now that's another hero that I can save my flash for. Ball is one of those heroes that can be a sponge for a lot of cooldowns, and sometimes his job is to intentionally kind of roll in to grab everyone's attention and use all their cooldowns. So I think it's just kind of like you want to use your best judgment to read the situation on whether I should save the flash for the ball or save the flash for a Reaper. Just because they swapped off of Pharah, they swapped Cass, but sometimes it's a better idea to, like, who do you think is going to have more of an impact? Like, who has the higher threat in this fight? Like, it looks like this Reaper has the higher threat. I don't use the flash, but that's it's a good call. That was nice. That was okay. I would have hit that.
Team kill.
And now it's documented, not just on stream, but in this VOD review, that I have won a round on Ilios well. It's rare, but it happens. I feel like Ilios is one of those maps where, like, I'll win 1 out of the 3, and like, or I'll end up doing really well, and then the round kind of goes south. But I think we already saw, like, in this VOD review that while it might have been a strong start, I got that cool clip on Pharah at the beginning. There were also just some decisions that I could have been better at making, where maybe being a little bit more aware of my backline, what they're up to, and peeling for them. I think that's always a better call than kind of tunnel visioning and looking for picks, because at the end of the day, it's not deathmatch. It's a team-based game. So prioritize taking care and enabling your teammates over just getting picks, because, like, everyone's probably heard those, like, funny, stupid meme stories about the Moiras with gold limbs, or the people just being toxic in chat, being like, bro, I have gold limbs, why aren't we winning? It's like, well, maybe you're getting limbs, but you're not getting them at the right times, you're not getting the right limbs. And so I would say that maybe instead of getting the Mercy or the Symmetra or the D.Va in that situation back on round 1, maybe the better limb to get would have been the Reinhardt that shattered my team. And they have a Widow. Yeah, whenever you're facing against a Widow and you have to cross sight lines, Like always just try and like maneuver your mouse. Whoops. Always just try and maneuver your mouse. Like if you see a Widow and she's just gonna take a shot at you. Oh shoot, she killed Josiah. Like something you should always try and do is like figure out where she is, and if you don't know where she is, always be asking your team, calming with your team, where's Widow, where's Widow? Because what that's gonna do is it's gonna kind of, even if you're not like talking to your team, even if you're in voice chat, just kind of asking, it'll at least kind of make people more aware and just know, oh, they have a Widow, I should be on the lookout. And whenever you see the red trail, or whenever maybe you do get to catch a glimpse of her, or someone tells you, oh, she's back main, or she's top right, like, if you ever have to cross an area with sightlines, don't be afraid of like ADing, spamming. I like to turn around, maybe crouch, and like look down to try and hide my head hitbox to make it harder for her to hit you. That's why you kind of saw me. Unfortunately, I think Josiah took the bullet here, but I kind of like looked to the ground there. Try to get the D-Mech on the D.Va here. We do get the pick on the baby D.Va, but I think our hog is definitely dead because she got... that was just... I don't know. I was looking at the turret probably and thinking maybe I could get... I don't know. Like, maybe... yeah. So this is... Okay, I'm noticing our ball is doing something like... that ball is always supposed to do. So if you are playing, if you're playing Wrecking Ball and they have a Widow, you are public enemy #1 for Widow. Like, I think I would say, like, I don't know, maybe this is not what they do in like the GM ranks. Like, I'm peak masters on support, but like, I think at most what Ball should do is do everything you can to disrupt Widow, because notice how she's looking at him, SMGing him. That means that she's not looking out here to be a threat to anyone else, right? And so I think whenever you're playing Ball into a Widow, you should always, 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 always prioritize not necessarily getting the pick on the Widow, but at least pressuring her to where she can't pay attention to the rest of the team and get that value. Because Widows are able to hit more of their shots when they're not getting disturbed, when they can literally sit back, relax, and there's no pressure on them. Like, if you look at the San Francisco Shock in Season 3, like with Onsan Sniper in Overwatch League, the reason why he was like, I mean, obviously he's just a god at hit scan, like that helps. But one of the reasons why he was able to have like such good like opportunities to take those shots is because the Shock were just such a well-oiled machine that they would give him so much space, and people like Moth and even Violet on support, like, and Choi, Hyobin on the off-tank, like, they would all enable him to have so much space to operate where it was essentially, like, most often than not, just kind of a shooting range for him. I know in Season 4, this past season of Overwatch League, the Shock were a little more disjointed and not as synergized. There was possibly just some, like, internal things that were affecting how the team operated and what they were doing. And when Ons came back to the team, I think the game also kind of continued to elevate as it does, but also I think because the Shock were a little more disjointed, they weren't able to play as tight and as organized to give Ons that space. And I'm sure you could see, while he could still hit some like nasty shots, he wasn't at the same like peak as he was when he was getting enabled that much. I have seen like different things and opinions about like using High Noon to crack photon barrier. I might have to do some research and like get back to people on that, because I don't know if it would have been a smart move here, but I know that like it does enough damage that it can crack the photon barrier, but I want to double check some of the numbers and see. Granted, there wasn't a lot of sight lines without really putting me in harm's way with the High Noon, so maybe not. But I'll put a pin in that. This is just a... Yeah, that was a weird choice. It was kind of like bad rotation, retreating, like I don't know where I was going, coupled with maybe trying to... I should have just gone for the shot instead of the fan the hammer Freddy. But I don't know. Like, I think it was like trying to do some crossfire to maybe pressure the nanoed Rhine instead of I don't know. Yeah. Oh, ate the flash. If you're playing anyone with CC like an Ana with a sleep dart or Cass with a flash against a D.Va, you can always melee to kind of bait the movement where she'll flash the DM, and then once it comes down, it's on a second cooldown, and that's when you use it. Or sometimes when I'm playing Ana or when I'm playing Cass with intelligence, I'll like sometimes kind of like do a 180 to make it think that I'm leaving, and then they're like, oh, okay, they're leaving, and then you turn around and flash them. But ate my flash, wasn't able to get away, and I think she might have even taken the Mega. Oh no, I don't hit these. I honestly think that this Widow swap, like, man, I love and hate playing Widow because there's just so much pressure where if you're not getting the picks, you might as well just swap off anyway. But I think I should have swapped Widow sooner because I felt like there was a lot of like free space that their Widow was getting, because while there was that one moment where that ball was trying to dive her, she wasn't really like getting pressured. Like our Doom was countering like several of the other people on the team and getting picks on like the sim and stuff, but when that Widow's there, it's hard for anyone to want to push up. And so I think it might have been a better call for me to swap Widow sooner. I don't think I even... Okay, we do get the pick on the Lucio. Oh, that's just unlucky, fam. I don't know why I was there either. That was just a weird position. I did have my hook too, I think. Maybe, I don't know. I just have this tendency, I have this bad habit of not opting for high ground when I play DPS. That should be just a mental note that I make in the future. Like, high ground, like, just lessons from Obi-Wan. If you have the high ground, then you'll always win. Or at least, if you're against Anakin. But yeah. If you have high ground, it's just over. Oh, we do clutch this out. That's sick. Okay. Cool. Oh, no, Mercy got the Widow. Alright. Do I get any picks as Widow here? I do! Cool.
No one can hide from my sight.
Oh, if I got the pick on that Lucio, that would have been nasty. That's just one of those things where I should practice my mechanics more, get more confident so I can hit those shots. I do get the baby D.Va D-mech though, that's nice.
I think it's time for us to see other people.
Alright, this is, I think if I recall, there was a comment about us maybe pushing up too far. Okay. Yeah, this was a feels bad moment. Because they did get an easy pick. I don't opt for the top of the pillar. I opt for... Oh, the Sims won. Yeah, this was just a... I think there was a lot of things that went wrong here. I think after I got that person to swap off of Widow, maybe it would have been better to also swap off of Widow. Just to... I don't know. Just because I think... I don't know. I was kind of feeling myself in this game. Like, I think I could have mirrored them on Cass. But I think it was also... There was definitely a mistake where the tank line might have pushed up too far. Hey, Saturn. How's it going? I think there was a situation where the tank line pushed up too far, and that might have not been the best decision, but at the same time, I think it's just, there's a multitude of things, because, like, I can't say that the blame is placed just on the Rhine there. I mean, I guess in some ways, like, you don't want to push up like that. Like, you don't need to be doing that, but I think, I don't know, I can't control what other people do. All I control is what I do, and I know that I think we could have had a better chance in round one if I'm I don't know, if I peeled better against their Rhine. Off work, long day, looking forward to doing nothing this weekend. Dude, true. I hope you get a restful weekend, dude. But yeah, honestly, like, I felt like this review kind of went a little bit quicker than the other ones, but I think it was a little more straightforward. I'm also trying to maybe not, like, stall and kind of go off on tangents, because, I don't know, I like to talk. That's just kind of how my mind works. But I think this was also maybe a shorter game. I'm not sure. I'll have to double check and look back on the videos. But overall, I think we can see that, like, with my Pharah, something that I can do is maybe work on tunnel visioning less, and I think this is just kind of a theme throughout all my, like, DPS play, is tunnel visioning less, target decision making, on saying, like, hey, like, what's the target that I should go for and focus on that can enable my team the most. And then on top of that, I think it's also, there's some weird positioning things where just kind of like I'm getting caught on the map geometry, but also when I'm backing up and retreating, I want to make sure that I'm with my team. Also, if I'm playing Cass or someone that requires a lot of resources and help from my team, I shouldn't be standing in front of my front line. And then I think on top of that, it's just practicing more, getting the mechanics brushed up. But yeah, thanks everyone for joining in on this VOD review. It'll be up on my YouTube channel if you missed the opening part of the stream. But yeah, that is it for this episode of Feedback Friday. And I hope to see you all on the next episode next Friday, or on the stream Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 3 p.m. Pacific time. But I think now I will jump in to some comp. But thanks for stopping by.